Random fun fact before today's video, this month actually makes 2 years since I've been sponsored by a TCG player. Shout out to them, it has nothing to do with the video, but I just thought I would mention it anyway. So in this video, we're going to be doing a Q&A because I haven't really been making a lot of videos lately. I've been very busy, and so I thought this would be the best way to just get a lot of stuff sort of answered and talk about a lot of different things all in one vid. So I asked on Facebook and Twitter for some questions, and we're going to answer them. Have you ever played a meme deck IRL, like Time Lords or something bad but very fun to play with a weird mechanic like Karibo? If so, how was the experience in your local card shop? The most sort of quirky, weird fun deck I played was a Uriah trap deck. That's Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames, the monster from GX that uses the continuous traps. I basically was running it with like Imperial Custom, so none of my traps get destroyed, and it would just use like Fiendish Chain and, you know, like Metal Reflect Slime, all the different sort of summonable trap monsters and reusable continuous traps. And like this is when Giant Trunade was around. And it was just kind of an annoying deck. It had like Battle Faders, it had Morphing Jar, and just all these like kind of weird things, Cold Wave for example. And then you finally summon Uriah and like they couldn't respond to its effect, and it had a lot of attack points. And it was really fun. A lot of people got kind of mad at me, but I mean like there are worse, like more annoying troll decks, honestly. And there's also ones where you outright can't play, like, you know, Exodia draw decks and stuff. So I feel like this wasn't, you know, the worst thing, but it was a fun deck that I enjoyed. Will you continue to make content once you're out of school? And what do you want the next summoning method to be? So, will I continue making content once I'm out of school? I'm not really sure. I mean, I would like to make Yu-Gi-Oh content as long as I can, but as you guys can probably tell, lately I've been just super busy with school, and sometimes it's just tough to balance like school, work, Yu-Gi-Oh, and just like videos and all that stuff at the same time. But I mean, I want to just do it as long as I, you know, feasibly can. What do you want the next summoning method to be? I really don't think I want a new summoning method. Like, honestly, I didn't want Link monsters. I don't think many people did. So really and truly, I would prefer if Konami would just focus on like fixing and like just polishing the game they have now. I really don't like the idea that we have to get a new summoning method every like 2-3 years. I think that we're just fine where we are. Is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links the future for Yu-Gi-Oh? Okay, so this is actually probably based somewhat off of like that recent financial report from Konami in Japan that like Duel Links was making them a lot more money, and that the physical like real life card game was seeing decreased sales. There's more on that on the internet if you want to find it. I'm not going to focus too much on that, but the point is, yeah, I see where this is coming from. I think that Konami really kind of struck gold with Duel Links because it appeals to, you know, kind of, it can appeal to a new audience who just likes mobile games, but it also appeals to a lot of the old school audience who just wants like a more classic feeling Yu-Gi-Oh, more simplified feeling Yu-Gi-Oh. And, you know, it's got microtransactions. It's kind of getting into that realm of esports lately. So I want to say that it could be the future of Yu-Gi-Oh, but I wouldn't like it if it was. I think that the future of Yu-Gi-Oh, if it just absolutely had to be like a mobile game, I would at least want it to be the full game, not just sort of this like condensed format thing. But I think the physical card game still got, you know, a few years in it, probably more than a few. It just all depends on kind of what Konami does with new animes and how they market it and stuff and those kinds of things. Do you agree that Konami tried and failed to slow the game down? What do you think it would take to slow it down? I mean, I think that Link monsters have slowed the game down. It's just that like, they're still being exploited right now. Like that's the weird thing with Link monsters. It's like, the mechanics in and of themselves, like, you know, Master Rule 4 or whatever, slows the game down pretty effectively. And you'll know this especially if you're playing kind of more of like a rogue or mid-tier deck that used to be able to at least summon a lot of things. Links tend to slow that down. So they did their job in that way. It's just that like a lot of these high-tier decks are, you know, obviously the Spiral Dilemma we just got out of, can still abuse them pretty hard. And it's like, it's a weird mechanic because basically people find things that they can abuse. Things like GoFu, things like Grinder Golem, which I like that card, but I feel like it's probably going to get banned. It's pretty nutty, the things it can do. So, I mean, they kind of have, and they kind of haven't. It's like, they're at this impasse where they want Link monsters to be used, but right now they kind of suck. So the only decks that can use them are the ones that can abuse some sort of, like, glitch, right? Some exploit, and then spam them out anyway. How should they fix it? I'm not the person to ask. What direction would you take the game if you were part of or in charge of the Yu-Gi-Oh! R&D department? I would try to make the game something that is more of like an entertainment esportsy type thing. Kind of like what I was mentioning with Duel Links earlier. I mean, I feel like live streaming more events, supporting more YouTube creators, turning Yu-Gi-Oh! Into more of an esport, and just sort of like getting maybe more sponsorship and stuff behind it, more social media, more talk about it. I think would be the best way to grow Yu-Gi-Oh. In terms of the question probably meant more like how would I balance the game. I would undo Master Rule 4. It's okay, but I think the game was fine without it. So that's my shallow answer to that part. What's a legacy deck you want support for? I don't know if this would be considered a deck, but I would like to see a deck made about it, and that would be basically Gate Guardian, the Paradox Brothers sort of like 3-part monster. I think would be awesome if like there was an archetype or something created around that. They basically supported every other legacy deck I would have maybe said. You know, Barrel Dragon and Relinquished and like Ultimate Great Moth and stuff are getting support next year. So I mean, like, yeah, I think that the only thing that's major thing from like the original Yu-Gi-Oh series that's been left out is like Gate Guardian. Out of the new archetypes released, what's your favorite? So if you're talking kind of just the last few months, I would say that Rockets right now are pretty fun. It's not a perfect deck, it has some flaws, but when it gets going, it does feel like a deck that I can really get into. I like the mechanics, I like the gimmick or whatever, the theme is all really neat, so definitely Rockets, and probably in a close second place would be Weather Painters, although they're a bit slow. I like the very unique premise that they take for like column-based gameplay and kind of control and stuff. So probably those two. How old were you when you got good at the game or when you got your first invite? It was like for me in 8th or 9th grade. So I want to say maybe around like 2009, 2010 or something like that. Yeah, basically that's kind of when I started to play the game competitively, you know, understanding the concepts of like, you know, running 40 cards, card advantage, why consistency, why certain decks just aren't good, things like that. I got my first invite and I want to say like 2010 or 2011. It some reason I don't really remember what. What are some archetypes you think deserve Link monsters? Literally everything, honestly. I just think like if you're gonna create a mechanic or like a new summoning type that restricts a load of old decks, then they honestly all deserve to get a Link monster. I mean, I'm glad that we're getting all those Link monsters in that Vrains pack, like, you know, the Lightsworn and the Burning Abyss and the Cleaforts and all that stuff. And then the new like Metal Foes card and things. But honestly, I mean, keep it going. Make one for every single archetype. I'm not even gonna list them because I think that literally every single archetype that relied on special summoning from the extra deck exclusively deserves a Link monster. What makes you attracted to wanting to build or play a deck? For example, playstyle, general theme, name, artwork, etc. It kind of varies. Like I tend to like kind of control-y decks that can explode when they need to. That's what sort of drawn me to a lot of decks like Mermails in the past. But these days, I just kind of pick something that feels like it could be competitive or it could get fun later. Like I said earlier, Rockets is the one that I've just liked it. I don't know, I just liked the premise. I liked Yang Zings a lot for some reason. Those stood out to me. True Kings and like True Dracos all seemed really cool. I like the ones that just have like a lot of variety in the monster types and attributes and stuff. So yeah, there's nothing in particular, that's just kind of how it is. So those are the answers to some of you guys' questions. Hopefully you enjoyed, learned something. I thought this would be just a fun way to kind of interact and answer questions and discuss a lot of things in one video because like I said, I've been kind of busy lately, so it's not always easy. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter though, that's where I ask. So, you know, it's a great place for fan interaction. I'm always posting pictures and other sort of just polls and different types of things. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thumbs if you did, be sure to subscribe. I do want to, of course, continue making videos, so I'll try to have something out in the next few days. And for those wondering before you ask, I have announced the winner of the Circuit Break box giveaway. So that was on social media. You can also go to the like entry page and it'll show who won. So yeah, people usually ask me that, so I figured I might as well actually mention it in a video for a change. This is gonna be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.